So you're thinking about metal table legs. Maybe you're building a table from scratch or giving an old one a new life. But where do you start? Well, the journey begins by understanding your materials. The metal you choose is the foundation. It dictates strength, weight, and how it handles the elements. You've got a few key players here. There's mild steel, the strong and affordable workhorse, but remember, it needs a protective finish like paint or powder coating to fend off rust. For a step up, stainless steel offers that sleek, modern industrial look and battles corrosion beautifully, though it comes with a higher price tag. If you need something lightweight and rust-resistant, perhaps for a portable table, aluminum is your friend, often seen with a brushed or anodized finish. And for that classic, ornate character, there's wrought iron. Heavy, strong, and perfect for decorative scrollwork, but it also needs a good finish. Speaking of finishes, this is where personality meets protection. Powder coating is the gold standard, incredibly durable and available in virtually any color. For a shiny, reflective look, electroplating adds a thin layer of chrome, brass, or nickel. And for a more artistic, aged feel, you can explore patinas or oxidized finishes that create a rustic charm. Now, with your material in mind, let's talk style. This is where your table's character really comes to life. The iconic hairpin leg offers a mid-century modern, minimalist vibe. Clean, tapered legs bring a contemporary feel, while square or round tube legs are the versatile workhorses of modern design. For an industrial look, you can't go wrong with pipe legs or simple angle iron. If stability is your top priority, look to splayed legs or elegant trestle and A-frame bases. These designs angle outward or use crossbars to prevent wobble and free up legroom. And of course, there's the classic four-post leg, simple but sometimes at the expense of knee space. But a great-looking leg isn't worth much if the measurements are off. Getting the geometry right is crucial for comfort and stability. First, height. Remember, your leg length isn't your table height. You have to subtract the thickness of your tabletop. Standard dining height is around 28 to 30 inches, desks are a bit lower, and coffee tables sit much lower. Next, consider the footprint. That's the spread between the feet. A wider base, or legs that splay out, dramatically increases stability and prevents tipping. And don't forget the attachment point. Make sure it's substantial enough to securely mount to your specific tabletop. Attachment. This is the practical part that brings it all together. You've got a few common methods. Top plates are straightforward, letting you screw the leg on from above or below. Threaded inserts, common with hairpin legs, screw directly into the tabletop for a clean look but require precise drilling. Bolt-on flanges offer easy removal, and for a truly custom piece, legs can be welded directly to a frame. A quick pro tip here. Always use something like a fender washer to distribute the stress and prevent the wood from splitting. So, as you're getting ready to buy, there are a few final considerations to weigh. Always check the load capacity. A dining table base should handle a few £100 at least. Match the leg's sturdiness to your tabletop material. A heavy stone slab needs a much more robust base than a plywood top. Little things like adjustable leveling glides or felt pads are non-negotiable. They protect your floors and fight the dreaded table wobble on uneven surfaces. And of course, make sure the style of the leg harmonizes with the overall aesthetic you're going for. To wrap it all up, here's a simple mental checklist. First, determine the style that fits your space. Then, do the math on the exact height. Assess the weight your table needs to hold. Choose your material and finish based on your environment and look. Verify that the attachment method works with your tabletop. And finally, always plan for leveling. Whether it's a sleek desk, a family dining table, or a sturdy workbench, choosing the right metal leg is what ties the whole project together, defining its function, its beauty, and its longevity. All right, let's move beyond the basics and take a deeper dive into what really sets a great table apart, the subtle, often overlooked details of metal table legs. This is where good projects become great ones. First, let's talk about the enemy of every table, the wobble. It's not just about loose screws, it's a physics puzzle. And the secret weapon? Geometry. The most stable shape in engineering is the triangle. That's why designs like trestles, A-frames, and splayed legs are so rock solid. They're built on triangulation. Here's a helpful rule of thumb. For a standard four-legged table to resist that annoying side-to-side racking, the footprint, meaning the area between the legs, should be at least 50% of the tabletop's length. So, for an 80-inch dining table, aim for at least 40 inches between the leg sets. And for tall, narrow pieces like bar carts, stability comes from a wider base or adding weight low down to lower the center of gravity. Now think about the forces a table actually faces. There's the static load, the weight of the table and everything just sitting on it. That's easy. The real test is the dynamic load, the force from someone leaning on it, pushing it, or even accidentally bumping into it. A leg rated for 200 pounds of static weight might struggle with just 50 pounds of sideways force. That's why smart designs incorporate gussets, cross-bracing, or that splayed angle we talked about. When you're looking at steel legs, don't just consider the type of metal. Pay attention to the wall thickness or gauge. It makes all the difference in how solid the table feels. A 16-gauge leg is the standard, feeling sturdy with minimal flex. Step down to 18-gauge, often found in more budget-friendly options, and you might notice a slight tinny feel or flex on longer spans. For that indestructible, commercial-grade heft, you'd look to 14-gauge and thicker. A quick tip. If you can, tap a sample. A higher-pitched ring usually means thinner metal. And the finish isn't just about color. Beyond standard coats, there are textured powders that hide fingerprints, metallic powders for a shimmering effect, and even clear coats to protect a beautiful brushed metal look without changing it. The highest quality pieces often start with a zinc-rich primer for ultimate corrosion resistance. Sometimes you need something you just can't find on a shelf. That's when custom fabrication comes in, for non-standard heights, extreme lengths over 8 feet, unique angles, or when you need to integrate features like cable management or casters. If you go this route, bring detailed drawings, specify your material and finish clearly, and always ask about weld cleanup. Will the welds be ground smooth and invisible? That's the mark of furniture-grade work. And remember, it's almost always more cost-effective to have the piece fabricated and then sent to a dedicated powder coater for the finish. Then there are the specialty applications. Folding legs for space-saving, adjustable height legs for sit-stand desks, which are marvels of integrated engineering, and even hollow, planter legs that can discreetly hide cords or, with proper sealing, hold a bit of greenery. Installation is where theory meets reality, and your tabletop material dictates your approach. Solid wood or plywood. Standard screws work fine. But for materials like MDF, particle board, or a live-edge slab with cracks, standard screws will eventually pull out. Here, you must use threaded inserts, T-nuts, or attach the legs to a solid wood block mounted underneath. For stone or glass, you're typically looking at a metal subframe that clamps the top. And here's a crucial, often missed pitfall: wood movement. If you're attaching a rigid metal base directly to a solid wood top, especially a wide one, don't fasten it rigidly at multiple points across the grain. As humidity changes, the wood expands and contracts, and if it can't move, it will crack. The solution is to allow for movement. Use slotted or oversized holes with washers, special hardware like figure-8 fasteners, or attach the legs to a wooden apron that itself is connected to the top with flexible hardware. For a perfectly level result, follow this sequence. Assemble the legs on a perfectly flat surface, attach the top, then carefully flip the whole unit over. Only then should you adjust the leveling glides. This ensures you're compensating for your floor, not for a twist built into the table. Looking ahead, trends are blending form and function in new ways. We're seeing more mixed materials, metal frames with integrated wood accents or leather straps. Asymmetric organic shapes that mimic nature are moving beyond rigid geometry. Finishes are becoming more nuanced, like oil-rubbed bronze with highlights, moving past simple matte black. Sustainability is growing, with legs made from recycled steel and eco-friendly coatings. And tech integration is on the rise, with bases designed for wireless charging and built-in cable management. Before you make a final decision, there's one powerful question to ask any manufacturer or fabricator. What is the failure mode of this design? Have they thought about it? Does it bend gracefully, or does it snap? If something fails, is it a bolt that can be easily tightened, or a weld that breaks? Does it tip over dangerously, or does it slide? The answer tells you everything about the engineering philosophy behind the leg. In the end, choosing a metal table leg is where sculpture meets structural engineering. It's the perfect balance of aesthetics, physics, material science, and the reality of daily life in your space.